In this video, I'm going to paint a little picture of London. It's basically about three stages. We've got the main wash, the main colour, which just gives us a bit of warms and cools, and some greys, and also we use this initial wash to show us the direction of the sun, showing shadows and highlights and things like that first. But before I do that, I like to just paint in the areas of the skin tones, because I find that when you paint over the whole paper, it stains first, and it's quite difficult to get a richness on when you're painting over the top of other pigment or dark shadows. So I'm going to get this first, get just these little areas of skin first. So I'm using an opera rose colour mixed with a bit of cadmium yellow here, and once I've got all these areas in, I'll dry it, and then we can start with the backwash. So here I'm just lifting out some of the pigment at the way we're looking at the right hand side of the picture, because that's where the sun is coming from. So we just laid a nice colour wash in and just lifting out the excess out of those areas. Right, now I'm happy with that. Get the hairdryer on it, just for a couple of seconds really, to allow that colour to stain the initial area of the paper. Now, starting with just by wetting the paper, ready for a wash of. I'm using just a cool grey here first. Spend a bit of time mixing with colours, but we've got a bit of a grey, so it's got a hint of blue in it. So the direction's coming from the top right of light. The direction of the light is coming from the top right. So I'm going to let the paint flow in that direction. So I'll turn it in a minute. Let gravity do the work. Just dab out some of those areas. Just adding a bit more pigment here. I really want to get these shafts of light going right the way across the page. So now I'm going to turn that around in the direction that I want it to fall, and let gravity do the work for me. And now I've just sprayed some more water on, which will reactivate those colours and let them just drain right the way down. Using warm colours and cool colours. And what you must remember is these colours will dry much lighter. I'm going quite heavy here with the pigment to the right hand side. I added a bit of yellow here because that's the kind of colour of lighting that's going to come from that underneath that canopy. That's cadmium yellow I just used on there, and this is back on the Payne's grey and a bit of just cool grey. I'm going quite heavy with this, quite a rich pigment. Now that's dried, we can move on with the next stage here. So I'm going to put a little bit of a stronger colour now, just to identify my foreground images. Just speed this up here now. Now we start with the background detail. When I say detail, we're trying to make this nice and loose, so just trying to get the shape of Big Ben in here. So initially that's important. You need to be able to tell that it is Big Ben. So we're getting the shape of the clock initially, and then we can soften it, we can loosen it. There are different things that we can do to do that, but I'm going to try and make it as loose as possible. Now we must make sure to fix the paint down and just, if we can, be careful about not getting it too much on these characters. The ones at the back, it's not too much of a problem. I'm trying to keep the top half of the characters fairly clean so I can get colour in there, you see. But I'm happy to have a bit of shadow across the bottom part of some of these people. So to enhance these characters, I'm adding a little bit of greys, dark pigment, Payne's grey, whatever you want to use. A nice mixture of burnt sienna and French ultramarine is also a good shadow colour too. So as that's blended down there, we can fetch these shadows around the bottom of the feet. Carefully lifting out bits of colour which have gone over some of the characters where I didn't want that to happen. So it's just as easy just to lift it out, and also to soften any of these shadows. This character's got a bag, so I'm just putting that shadow around it. I'll just paint around the shadows too, so it just brings these characters out. I want the shadow to go around them, the bottom half as well. But we can soften that as well by just using a damp brush and just lifting out some of the area there. The trouble is when you soften the shadow, it makes the light less harsh, so it doesn't seem a stronger light. If you had really sharp shadows, it would make the viewer think that that light was striking and hot and really powerful. But that's not what I really want for this scene. Okay, so that's dried again, and if you notice, it's gone much lighter, which is good, because this tower, I only wanted those background colours just to be a lighter shade for me, a lighter tone. So just using a bit of Payne's grey. I'm just inferring little areas of shadow and shape. Well, just bring a little bit of detail up to me. The buildings at the back. I'll speed up a bit now. Okay, so now we've got the background done, little bits of shadows in there, we can concentrate on these main characters at the start now. So I'm putting quite a strong pigment on the left side of this character from our perspective, and now I add a bit of water to that just to lighten it up towards that side. Down there, and now I'm going to, what's it got down there, just add a darker colour now to the bottom part and just blend that colour down into here. So now I can define the legs, and the nice and simple legs, just two, it's like a V shape really, isn't it? working on that, fetching a couple of extra shadows in. Just ground that character with a shadow. And now I'm adding a little bit more orange pigment there, just to bring these characters' faces out a little bit more. Do the same again with this character. Now from this part, it's simply a case of just enhancing and deepening those shadows, scanning your eye across the picture, trying to make it all fit together now, connecting it somehow, even if it by little dabs and marks. By this I'm using the wall at the back. There, just bring it right away across these characters. I'll put a backpack on this guy's face, guy's back, his face. Now, this canopy, give it a bit more detail. Just a point of interest, really. I think what we need now is to get some darker detail in here now, just to bring it all together. And I think that should be it. So there it is, and its mount, and you can see the shadows on the left, and the highlight of light coming from the right. Well, thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please visit my website, which is somersetartist.com. That's somersetartist.com. And please leave a good comment, and thanks again for watching.